Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2007 Fleetwood Providence Motorhome, we're going to be checking out the Roadmaster Nighthawk Tow Bar. So before we start talking about the tow bar itself and everything it can do, I figured it'd be useful to kind of touch base on the main components that we're going to need to flat tow our Jeep down the road in the first place. That way we can kind of just refresh yourselves. With that said, the first one's going to be the base plate, and what that's going to do is provide us with a solid and reliable connection point. That way we can hook our tow bar up to it. Tow bar is going to be the second component, and this is going to be the physical link that actually connects the front of our Jeep to the back of our motorhome. The third main component will be your safety cables, and these are there in the event of an unlikely disconnect. These are going to keep everything connected together. The fourth main component is going to be tow bar wiring. And what this is going to do is transfer the lighting functions from the back of your coach to the back of your Jeep, keeping you not only safe but legal as well. And last but not least, the fifth main component is going to be a braking system. And what that's going to do is apply the brakes in your Jeep whenever you hit the brakes in your motorhome, helping to bring you to a more safe and predictable stop. But with all that said, let's go ahead and get going on the tow bar. So when it comes to choosing a tow bar, there's a ton of different options out there, and you want to make sure that you choose the one that's best for you. And honestly, the Nighthawk is one you definitely can't go wrong with regardless of situation. You know, it's one of my favorites and does a lot of cool different things, really easy to figure out and use. One of the really important things is how your vehicle is going to track behind your motorhome. You know, after talking to a lot of our neighbors who flat tow, you know, it's probably one of the more important things. You know, you want a responsive tow bar that's going to do a good job and keep your vehicle going straight behind you, you know, when you're going down the road. And this one does a really good job of that. Actually, it's really long. And generally speaking, the more distance you have in between the back of your motorhome and the front of your vehicle, the better. You know, it's just going to be more responsive and more importantly, you know, helping you get around those tight turns. It's going to follow the motorhome and help out a lot with that. And I know that can be a little tricky, you know, large motorhome, trying to go to your gas station and things like that. So definitely a tow bar that does a good job as far as that is concerned. Another big thing is the ease of use, you know, and the simplicity of it. And I definitely understand that. You know, you don't want a tow bar that's going to be confusing and complicated when you're out over the road. You just want to be able to hook it up and get going. And that's the case with this one. One of the main things that makes it really easy to handle is the fact that the chassis is made from aluminum, so it's super lightweight. You know, you're not going to have to break your back when you're leaning down trying to hook everything up, you know, and really struggling with it. So really light, and you know, it's also really capable and really strong as well. This thing has an 8,000 pound weight capacity, pretty high number. You know, you should be covered pretty much whatever vehicle you're towing for the most part. Which also brings me to actually hooking it up to your base plate. And this is a direct connect, so it doesn't really get much more simple than this. Whenever you are ready to hook up, you're just gonna have a pin here. So you'll pull that out, pull this out, and you're separated. You're ready to take off the rest of your components and take your vehicle for a spin. But whenever you're ready to pull behind the motorhome, simply just gonna line that back up, put your pin through, lock it in, hook up your other components, and that's really all there is to it. So not complicated at all. Sometimes what can happen though is these arms will get in a bind, and that's when things do get a little complicated. You know, the ends here will be super tight, and it makes it very difficult to remove these pins whenever you're ready to disconnect. And so what Roadmaster has done to correct that issue is put these levers here. So this is going to be a non-binding type of tow bar. So if that does happen, you do go to disconnect from the vehicle and you're really struggling to get these out, they're super tight, all you're going to have to do is pull up on these levers. All right, you'll have one on each arm. You'll pull up on the lever that will release all that tension and make it extremely easy to pull those out and get disconnected. So a really nice feature, and honestly a must-have in my opinion. But other than that, you know, it's really just the basics. The tow bar does come with a lot of extra things. Does come included with safety cables, so that's nice. You know, one less thing you're not going to have to worry about picking up separately. You know, they're weighted. The weight capacities are appropriate, lengths appropriate, and everything else. It's also going to come with the cable here, and same deal with that. You know, it's long enough and everything else. And it's also going to come with a 6-way round plug. Now our customer is using a different plug, but it's a 6-way round. The one it comes with works just fine. I've used them all the time for a lot of flat tows, and it's a good plug. With that said, you know, if this is a tow bar that you're going to pick up and you need some other components like diode wiring, for example, you want to get the kit that comes with just the wiring and the diodes. And that's because with the tow bar coming with the connector plug and the cable, that's all you're going to need to kind of, you know, complete that whole kit, if that makes sense. And it also has a couple other pretty neat things, you know, one of them being the channels. So you can tell all the wiring is ran through these channels, keeps it up off the ground, keeps everything nice and organized, easy to see and get to. And something that I kind of thought was a little gimmicky at first, but I can definitely see a purpose for it, is on the side of each arm, we're going to have a strip of LEDs. Okay, so that way at nighttime when you have your lights on, these are going to illuminate orange and kind of just let other drivers know, hey, you know, something's going on here. There's something connecting your vehicle to the back of your motorhome, which is definitely useful. You know, a lot of distracted drivers on the roads today, so anything extra will always help out. So at the end of the day, a tow bar you really can't go wrong with. You know, this is one of my favorites, and if I was flat towing a vehicle, I definitely wouldn't hesitate to use it myself. Something that is really important whenever you're over the road flat towing is storage. You know, your motorhome don't have a ton of extra space, or it's very valuable. So one of the cool things is you can actually store this on the back of your motorhome, whether it be temporarily or even permanently. All you're gonna have to do is disconnect it. You can flip it up, and then you can turn it to either side, whichever works best for you, and let it go like this. So really convenient. If you do decide to keep it mounted back here permanently, I would suggest picking up a locking hitch pin. That way it is secured. And I'd also suggest grabbing a bag, something like this. That way you can put it over the tow bar and just give it an extra layer of protection. And that'll finish up our look at of the Roadmaster Nighthawk Tow Bar on our 2007 Fleetwood Providence Motorhome.